the Lord gives you instruction through a woman, a man of God, that vessel that he's using, or a prophet, it's wise for you to take that advice. It's wise for you to take that the instruction that God is giving you through his servants or his people, because your deliverance, your breakthrough, or your healing can only come through the way that God is instructing you through the woman or man of God to do it, or through his word. However God is telling you to do something, that is the way that you need to do it. So a lot of people look at people in this vessel. They look at people in the flesh, and they look at their appearance. They look at this, and they look at that about them, and they could, whatever, how they critiques, or how can you tell me something I don't know you? They have that fleshly mindset, or either a way of understanding, and so they downplay and do not follow the instruction. But then they started asking God, why didn't I get healed? Why didn't I get delivered? They question. But the reason why, because you didn't do it God's way. You didn't do it God's way. And so that's why you didn't get it. It's not that the word was not true. It wasn't that the word was false. You just didn't do it the way God told you to do it. And so we have to be careful, in listening and applying what it is that God is speaking to us. God, just like God told Naaman. He told Naaman was to dip into the Jordan 7 times. Naaman was like, who, me? What? Naaman? Not me. I thought he was going to come out here and do this and that. I thought he was going to, it'll be better for me to do this. But that's not the way God told you to do it, Naaman. This is where your healing at. Why do I want to go dump myself into the Jordan 7 times? Because your healing is in the Jordan. So many people are Naamans, where they don't want to go through the process of what God is telling them, the way that God is telling them to go through the process for their deliverance or healing or whatever it may be. The necessary steps for you to be free. Your steps may be different from my steps or anyone else's steps. God may heal them through fasting. He may heal somebody else through the laying on of hands or however way, but he may want to heal you a little bit different, in a different way. We have this mind or this understanding of that this is the way God gonna do this. Like, we just have it down pat to what we think we know that God is gonna do, and how God is gonna move and do a thing. But little do we know, we got it all screwed up. We got it backwards. And I'm sorry, I'm tired, y'all, and my sinus is kind of messing with me. That's why I'm looking like this. But I mean, like, God is a God of order, and he expects us to do things in order and decency. If there's no order and no decency, then I'm sorry, it's not going to prosper. It's not going to prosper, because you're being disobedient and prideful. When you ask, if you ask me, it's prideful, because you telling God how to operate in your life. You telling God how he should move, huh? And God may tell you to do the most foolish thing that you wouldn't even think of. He say use the foolish thing of the world to confound the wise. So God may tell you to do some things that you like, nah, this can't be God. That's just like this video I saw, and this man was giving a testimony. I think it was his wife, I don't know. And he was saying how the Lord told her to put pants or something, or tights or something up under her dress. And she was kind of wrestling with the Lord about it, but she eventually gave in and obeyed. And so therefore, when she got out and went to preaching, God told her to do a cartwheel, and she was questioning God, why would I do a cartwheel? Whatever. And so when she did it, a man came over to her weeping and crying and say that, I think he repented and gave his life to the Lord, and say that he was just saying, like, if you are real, I want this lady or somebody to come along that line was said to do a cartwheel. If and she did that in obedience to the Lord. It was foolish to her, but yet she obeyed God. You see what I'm saying? So we can't let our pride get in the way. We can't let our mindsets get, our own mind get in the way. Because God's ways is not our ways. I always say that because it's not. And I want people to get it, to understand that God's ways are different. His thoughts are different than our thoughts. God knows every single thing. He's not going to have you do a thing or say a thing without having a reason behind it. He's not. And we have to understand it. I know it can be foolish to us and we may not understand it, but if God tell you to do something and it's the Lord, obey. Why wrestle with God about it? And I know we can do it. I wrestle with God about things. Within myself, I'm saying, Lord, whatever. But obedience is key. Had she would have not have done that, that man would have never believed in God. He would have never believed in God. He would have walked away disappointed. And like, you're not real. Had she would have disobeyed. And we can look at when the man at the pool of Bethesda, he wouldn't get, every time the angels came at a certain time to stir up that water, he would have an excuse when the Lord came. Everybody else go in before me and this and that. Man, all you got to do is press your way through it and get in that water. If you want healing, you got to be desperate enough to press your way through and get in. And there's a lot of Naamans of today. The Naamans of today. This is the title of that video. The Naamans of today. God need you to follow the instruction. He wants you to follow the instruction. Naaman, follow the instruction. You hear me? Naaman, follow the instruction of the Lord. This is your breakthrough. This is your healing. This is where you're going to see results. If God told you to fast this way, fast away from turkey or whatever, ham, bacon, whatever it is, and yet it's still, you want to do it your way, you want to eat it here and there, I believe it's okay for me to sneak in a bite here and there. If God told you to strictly fast away from meat or whatever it may be, then you need to do it God's way. Don't say, well, I might can have a bite occasionally. No, do it God's way, because if we don't do it God's way, we're not going to see the results that we are looking for. We're not. So that's all I want to say. Naaman, obey. Naamans, obey the Lord. Hallelujah.